Okay, everyone, thanks for joining us on Ludicrous Feed. Sorry about that technical delay. I couldn't get the video that I scheduled on my computer to go live, so I'm going live with my phone here, and hopefully you can join us from my phone. So here we are live. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. In fact, I'm going to go to the control room here and just tell everyone to come over to this video because I can't quite get it to. Can't quite get it to convert to my video. So hopefully people are joining us as we speak. Let's have a look here. Let's go back to the video. All right. So going to the video now. Here we go. Some people joining us. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Sorry about that technical delay. Thanks for switching over to this video. I had a few issues with the other video. Couldn't quite convert it over to a live feed from a scheduled event, so I need to do some homework on YouTube. But I'll work it out for next time. But anyway, we've got live feed here on my phone here. So any issues, please let me know, and we'll sort them out. And of course, in comments, let's go through the chat now. There we go. Live chat's on. So if there are any issues at all with regards to audio or visual, please let me know and I will fix it accordingly. But we'll try and answer some of your questions tonight. That's the aim of this live stream here. So thanks very much again for joining us, guys. If you've just tuned in, I'm going to use my computer as my reference and my phone as the video. So thanks for joining us again on YouTube. Thanks, guys. I can see 7 people joining us, so thank you very much. And I'm going to go to my Twitter account now, see whether we can look at anyone asking any questions on Twitter. So here we go. We've got Tesla in the Gong, my old friend, Tesla in the Gong, fellow YouTuber, asking, do we have any idea of ballpark number of Model 3 reservations in Australia? I don't know that answer. There were some numbers touted about on Twitter before the release of Model 3. Some people were saying the thousands. I'm not sure about that. I think that's probably a bit optimistic. I reckon they're probably in the hundreds of sales at the moment. I reckon we'll be lucky to get a few thousand on that first delivery. So I don't really know. No one has that answer because Tesla doesn't release any figures for their sales. But hopefully in time they will release some numbers for Model 3. Part 2 of the question, if it's a good volume, do you think Navigate on Autopilot will finally come through? Actually, I saw on Twitter this morning too that full self-driving is now available in Florida. I'm not sure whether it's available like now, but certainly it's been passed, which means that you can actually have a driverless car on the roads in Florida. So I don't know how soon that will be, but certainly that's very interesting change of events there in Florida. Hopefully we can see that happening more as well around the world, which will be good. Let's see if there are any more questions here. Aren't we happy that for all the talk about Elon time, he did keep his promise of winter Model 3? He sure did, and hopefully we will get Model 3 by August, which is technically the last month of winter here in Australia. So thank you, Elon, for that. Tesla Gong asked again, will the Model 3 be a good fit for our roads? I think so. I think so, because it's a good car. It's been designed and tested for Californian conditions to start with. I've got to say, California is very similar to Sydney, at least. Certainly the warmer, more temperate parts of Australia. I think our roads will be very similar to their freeways and things over there, because they've got nice big highways, and which will be very, very similar to our roads here. So I think it'll be good. White interiors, do you dig it? How many are waiting for that to come through? Well, that's a question I'm going to pose to you guys. How many of you are waiting for the white interior in Australia? Because as you know, the Tesla config is saying that there's only black interiors available for now. So I know there's some people on Twitter saying that they are waiting for the white interior to come through. So hopefully it will come through shortly. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I reckon it'll be probably more like next year, I reckon, once Tesla get an idea of volume of sales here in this country. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone chatting. Can someone write a comment here? Oh, look, Shannon has said, not sure I like the white interior. Black looks just as good to me. Shannon, I got to agree with you. I have sat in the black interior, and I quite like it, actually. I quite like it. Yes, I am with the long-range rear-wheel drive. That's from Tom. Thanks, Tom, for that. Yep, Pork on Fork, thank you very much. So yes, there are some people chatting, which is great. Thank you very much for that. So again, apologies for those who were waiting for me earlier in the night. I did say 8:30 start, but I had a few technical issues with changing over from the event to a live feed. So I think I need to download a decoder, or an encoder rather, for YouTube. So I'll certainly do some more homework on that for the next one. All right, another question from Tesla in the Gong. Thank you, Nashford, asking all these questions. By the way, check out Tesla in the Gong's YouTube channel as well. He's got some great little tutorials on how working a Tesla. So check that out, Tesla in the Gong. He wrote again, great pick on the performance, hashtag Model 3 AU. By the way, that's our hashtag for YouTube, for Twitter, hashtag Model 3 AU. That's the hashtag that most of us are using for the Model 3 Australia. Having great specs even without the performance package, all-wheel drive separate version. Yeah, I guess I did pick up on that because when you click on the performance version and then the performance package, it actually says increase the top speed from 233 to 261. So that made me suspicious that perhaps the performance without the upgrades acceleration was not 3.4. So you know what? I think we actually got a reply from Tesla themselves. One of the reps said that we actually going to get 3.4 second acceleration for the package, sorry, for the performance Model 3 without the package. So I'm very thankful for that. That's good. All-wheel drive separate version. Yeah, that's right. Hi guys for joining us. I just saw Outback Tesla for joining us. G'day Richard. Fooled us with a phantom stream. Evening Tom. Sorry about that, Carl. Neville, do you think the Model 3 will get cheaper if our exchange rate improves in the next year? That's a good question. I am hoping so. I mean, Tesla are known for changing their prices quite regularly. So yeah, that's a possibility, that's for sure. Now, I'm going to try and look at some of your chat because it sort of appears and disappears on this phone here. So I'm going to turn my phone this way. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Okay. All right, I can't do that. Mate, I did a tweet stream of questions just joining in. Hey, Tesla in the Gong, thanks for joining us. I just went through all your questions, so thank you for that. Appreciate you doing that. Lots of people on another stream which are waiting have told them to come here. Thanks for that, Richard. Appreciate it. I know I'd had a bit of a technical issue there converting over to live. My fail there, so apologize. Couldn't see tow bar option on the Model 3 order page. Will we have a tow bar option? I am not sure, actually. I'm not sure. Let's Google that right now. Model 3 tow bar. That's something I mean, I personally don't tow very often, so it's not something that concerns me too much. First thing comes up, says Tesla adds factory Model 3 tow hitch option in Europe. So in Europe they're getting it, and that's from May 2019. So don't know whether we're getting that in Australia, so that'll be nice. Tesla in the Gong said no tow bar in Australia, so that's your answer right there. I phoned Tesla Sydney and they knew nothing about the tow bar. So I think unfortunately we won't be getting tow bar for now, even though we all know electric cars can tow very easily. If you haven't checked out the video of a Model X towing a 737, one of the Boeings, it's pretty impressive. And check out an older video done by, I can't remember the YouTuber, but it was a Tesla Model X racing a Alpha Spider, I think it was, and they beat the other Spider while it was towing a Spider. That's a pretty funny video. Yeah, check that one out too. Look, I want to show you this as well. There was a video that is Model 3 all-weather mat coming to Australia in August. Chris, I don't know. I'm sorry, mate. You'll have to wait for that one. Or someone can ask Tesla for me. We're going to have like Europe and have a CCS and Tesla plug since we have a lot of CCS chargers. Well, if you've seen my video recently, I actually went to the St. Leonard's charger and documented that we've actually got CCS2 and the Type 2 plugs available in some of the supercharger locations. So I know one in Brisbane and one in Melbourne have got that as well. So there's dual ports, CCS2 and Type 2. Just in St. Leonard's, of the 6 stalls, there's only 2 stalls that have got the dual ports. So CCS2 definitely in for Model 3 in Australia. So that's really good news. I'm going to try and show you this video now, if I can. Turn my camera around. Hopefully I can. If I can't, I will switch my thingy around. So let's make this full screen for you first. Now this is pretty awesome. See if I can turn my video around. Yeah, here we go. Have a look at this. So this is posted by Chad Mortensen, one of the Tesla tweeters. So this is on his Model 3 screen, and he's literally driving. He's driving his car. Yeah, it's stationary. I was going to say, I hope it's stationary. Here he is driving a game. That's pretty cool. That's the kind of like game I want to see. Like, sure, Atari is fun. Like, I've got to admit, it's a little bit before my time, all those Atari games. So hopefully something more like this for Model 3. Using pedals, McBain, I don't know. I don't know, actually. That would be pretty fun if it was using pedals. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's fine. I'll pause that back to me. So yeah, guys, thanks for tweeting those comments for me to see. All right, Carl says, heard an interesting tidbit on the Ride the Lightning podcast this week. Referral supercharger credits have an expiry date. I have not heard this before. Hopefully people are aware of this. Indeed they do. So they've got 6 months expiry. So you've got 6 months to use your 1,500 kilometers of supercharging. That works out to be about 2 or 3 full tanks of petrol, maybe 4, depending how big your previous car was. And as the referrer, you actually, if you don't have free lifetime supercharging already, you have an expiry of 6 months per referral, but that doubles or adds every 6 months to another referral. So if you get like 5 referrals, you get like 30 months expiry on your supercharging credit, and 1,500 times 5, so 7,500. Yeah, web browser, I don't know, guys. I've read lots about this, and I don't think so. I don't think so, unfortunately. It's just something that's not allowed in Australia. Some people might argue it's a nanny state thing, but you know, I think in America you can't use a web browser anyway unless you stop the car and have it in park. So I think, look, I don't know. I don't want to comment. It's not a political channel. It's a government thing. Just leave it at that. Let's lobby for it when more Model 3s come on the market. That's what I'll say. There was a question earlier by someone who asked about delivery in August. That's what we're getting on the Model 3 cars when you order it online. Alex K, how you going? Good to see you online. So yeah, the question was about delivery in August. I think that is probably going to be the case because Elon did say winter delivery. Now, with regards to order, as in like who gets priority with orders. So this is way back like a year or two ago. I asked the Tesla rep, because I originally put Joy, my wife's order, under her name, and the rep told me, no, you should change it over to your name because you've already got a Tesla Model S, and that's you should do that because you get priority. Model S or X owners in Australia get priority over other reservation holders. So, you know, from a selfish point of view, I'm hoping that we'll get our Model 3 first. Then I can obviously share it to you guys. But to be honest with you, I think we'll probably all get our cars around about the same time. So like a boatload of cars, we're talking like, you know, a couple of thousand, I think. I think anyway, someone can correct me on those numbers. I was just reading like how many come to Norway like earlier this year, but it's unlikely we're going to get that many numbers in the first batch. So I think whether you're a reservation holder or an owner or not an owner or not a reservation holder, we should probably get all our cars roughly about the same time. We might miss each other by a couple of days, but honestly, I think it'll be within weeks. We should be all getting our cars. And then, you know, it'll be like, it'll spread like wildfire. I shouldn't use that word. That's a bad word. But we should spread because, you know, when there are more cars on the road, people want to have a look at it. People want to experience it. And suddenly you've got a friend or a relative that has a Tesla all of a sudden. Because currently in Australia, we've got maybe 2,000 Teslas. So the chance of you knowing someone with a Tesla is less. But if we've got like, you know, 5,000 Teslas, you know, every month it increases by a couple of thousand again, then there are more Teslas on the road. There's more chance of someone knowing another person who owns a Tesla. And I think that's how the word will spread in Australia. Certainly that's how it's spreading in Europe. So yeah, I'm confident it'll happen. It'll happen. Guys, any other questions? Are there anyone out there wanting to know about the car itself? Before I hang on, says, any thoughts on delivery mechanism? Do we all come to Sydney, I wonder, or will they deliver interstate? Yeah, I don't know whether they'll deliver outside of the Sydney metropolitan or Melbourne metropolitan or Brisbane metropolitan areas. I think you've probably got to come to your nearest delivery centre. Or I think you can actually nominate. I did see somewhere that you can nominate somewhere where you want to go to. Oh wait, Upback Tesla said your car was shipped by truck to Darwin. I did not know that, Richard. That's awesome. Okay, well there you go. There you go. So maybe, but see that, I guess, Richard, that's a one-off. You've got 2 Teslas in the Northern Territory, right? I guess if you've got like thousands of cars, I'm not sure whether they're going to ship that many cars to, unless you get 1,000 cars in Darwin, Richard. That would be cool. Then that would be certainly worth shipping by car, truck at least. Can I charge my Model 3 with my already installed home Type 2 charger? I believe you can because it's a CCS2 plug. It'll certainly accept Type 2 AC plug. Not the supercharger Type 2s, just the home AC plugs. Wow, these questions are coming thick and fast. I'm going to quickly read them. I'm sure Tesla have increased the self-drive feature on the Model 3. We'd like to get extra features soon. Yeah, I think we're just going to... That full self-driving is not coming to Australia just yet. If you buy it now, I think it'll be sometime before it's approved in Australia. As you know, we're a little bit slower here. So, like for example, I was just saying earlier that in Florida, full self-driving was just approved in that state in the US. They're one of the first as well. So they'll be allowing cars without drivers on their roads, which is pretty cool. So early before party in Sydney? Yeah, certainly party in Sydney if we're getting thousands of deliveries. I mean, we'll all be there anyway, right? Roughly about the same time. Speaking of which, I actually saw in the Tesla Facebook group, and I actually saw this myself, that the St. Leonard store has actually possibly downgraded to a service center. And I think they're moving all store-related inquiries and walk-ins to the Martin Place store in Sydney. So some of the people were saying that on the Facebook group that it's kind of inconvenient because St. Leonard's is great because you can just drive in and ask a question, whereas Martin Place is a bit more inconvenient because you can't you can drive, but it's not like St. Leonard's where you can park and walk in. But the argument from Tesla is that I think that there's more foot traffic in Martin Place in the city. So just from a volume convenience point of view, there are more people walking around Martin Place and they're going to get more inquiries that way. I just saw a question before, can Model 3 charge from superchargers? Yes, they can, but it's got to be a CCS2 plug, which there are some superchargers, like in Sydney and St. Leonard's, there's two, I know at least. There's a couple in Brisbane as well. You can't use the Type 2 Model X superchargers, but you can use the special CCS2. Richard asked, is there going to be a converter? Now, you might have seen on Twitter, possibly, Tesla Gong and I putting an inquiry into Tesla, asking them to install retrofit our Model S and Model X's, but that was kindly, unfortunately, denied by Tesla. So they don't have a set date yet in Australia for retrofitting our cars with CCS2 compatible adapters. So unfortunately, it's just watch this space at this stage. So we can't use those adapters at this stage. You can still use CharDemo, which a lot of the generic non-Tesla rapid DC chargers have, but you can't use CCS2 just yet. Alrighty, so are there any other questions, guys? Just a reminder, at what point in the order process is my $1,500 reservation amount deducted from the price? Okay, that's a really good question, Daniel, because I've made a video on this as well, but I'll tell you now that, I was sort of wondering about that process as well when I ordered my car. So it's not deducted at the point of order. You still got to pay $3,000. But when you get the confirmation email from Tesla, once you've bought it, it'll say, your paid amount. So you've paid $3,000 deposit, and then you've paid $1,500 reservation fee from whatever time you paid, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. So they'll say you paid $4,500. That'll come off that final balance payment when they ask for it in 6 weeks, 7 weeks time before you take delivery of the car. So there was a question before. I can't see the chat. I'm sorry. I'm going to see whether I can. Live chat. Here we go. I can see it now. Right. Yep. So McBain asks, sounds like standard range plus real world range about 300 Ks. So that number they've quoted, which is 225 miles, which is about 450 odd kilometers. That's NEDC, which is always a little bit more than WLTP. WLTP is real world, so I reckon it's probably like closer to 400, I'd say. Because my car, for example, I've got a 70D Model S, and the NEDC rating when I got it was like 430 kilometers, and real world range is like 350. And that's on a 400% charge. So that's like a 20% reduction in the NEDC range, right? So if you say take 10, 15, maybe 20% off a range of 225 miles. You're looking at minus 40, so like 180, 190 miles for a standard range plus. So maybe 300 something. You were right. Yep. So really good estimate there. Um, Someone asked, will the supercharger network be able to handle all incoming Model 3s? Ooh, that's a really good question. Holden Commodore SSV. Great name, by the way. Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. Like, I've got two minds about this because, sure, there'll be a lot more Model 3s, but people have to pay for the supercharger. So I think economics are going to dictate how many Model 3s will actually use those superchargers. I think initially, yes, when they've got the free supercharging credit when they buy their car, there'll be a lot. There'll be like queues because people want to use their free credit. But after a while, when that runs out, we're looking at like 42 cents per kilowatt hour, right? So that's a little bit more expensive than home charging. So you're really only going to use a supercharger when you're on the road. You're not going to use a supercharger on the daily basis. So I don't think they're going to clog up those superchargers too much when Model 3s come. So I think initially, yes, there'll be a bit of a jam at these places, but I think give it 6 months when the credit runs out, then I think it'll be fine. So let's look at some more questions. Sorry. Okay, are we going to organize a big OS M3 meetup once we have them all? Yeah, I think. Well, I shouldn't say I think. I actually put this question on Twitter, and I said, let's do it. Let's do a meetup in Canberra when we get them all. Hey, CDV, thanks for joining us. I was just saying, I've got a whole bunch of questions that we answered, but go through them later on and watch it later. I'll put a replay on later on. Ray, g'day from Mexico. Oh, Ray, you're from Mexico. Hello. How you going? Oh, maybe you're not from Mexico. You're actually in Mexico right now. All right, Alex K. When you order any Tesla online, at what point is finance organized and by whom, if not paying in cash? I would say it's organized at the point of when you're about to Mexico, Victoria. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's way too late for jokes like that. I'm sorry. It's went way over my head. I get it now. Yeah, thanks, Ray. Yeah, sorry, back to my question. Yeah, so I think finance is organized at the point of just before delivery. So you've got to have that your money organized before you take delivery of a car. I would think that's more like any other dealership or any other car company. You need to have finance organized. Does Tesla do finance in-house? I think they do. They certainly did for the Model S and X. I can't see why they wouldn't as well. I'm just going to keep scrolling through. Do you think we'll eventually be getting Model 3s from the Shanghai factory? I would think so. If you haven't seen the Shanghai Gigafactory yet, have a look at it. Have a look at it online. It's quite amazing. Like they only turn the first. Is that what it's called? Turn sod the ground. When they turn, well, anyway, the first shovel was sod. First shovel was turned only like literally 6 months ago. So yeah, it's really gone up very quickly. I think it'll be amazing. And there was talk about putting superchargers in other continents as well. So we might see one here in Australia, which would be good. Will this reduce prices? I would think so, right? I mean, Model X and S have come down in price. I would think as volume goes up and sales get better, they certainly will come down. LTE is a bundled Spotify. I think. I say okay. So Tesla and Gong asked LTE. Yeah, surely the screens are either 4G or LTE. I'm a bit concerned about my center screen for Model S because it's currently 3G, and 3G network is scheduled to come down. I don't know when, but I'm seeing some 5G ads on the TV at the moment. So if my screen can't handle 4G at the very least, then that's a worry. And I'm hoping that there'll be some option for me to buy or upgrade to a 4G screen. Carl asks, the Tesla electrician at Tuggery last week indicated the retrofit of CCS2 was still unknown, but he thought it should be done before August. If not, he said we should be able to get an adapter. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, that Tuggery one is brand new, right? So you would think they'd retrofit it pretty quickly before. They certainly did in Europe. All the superchargers, or at least a lot of them, were rolled out before Model 3 came in. Will we see a lease option from Tesla? I don't know. There is one in the US because they're obviously doing their robo-taxi fleet. Don't know about Australia, sorry. Queensland Electric Highways, all CharDemo as well. That's very true, very true. So it might be still worth getting a CharDemo until we get that adapter. CharDemo adapter is $600 odd now, whereas the retrofit for CCS2 is more like 800 plus. So yeah, it's slightly cheaper for now. Okay, let's scroll back down. Any other questions here? Really like your video about Tesla vehicles. Hi from Adelaide, South Australia. Thanks very much, Rob. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your feedback and your support. Sid Evie says Mexico has some decent hyperchargers there, 350 kilowatts. Yes, indeed they do. They've got two, one in Euroa and one in Barnawartha North, done by ChargeFox, which I'll try and get down to once we have our Model 3. All right, yep. Do you believe that the Australian government is doing enough to help with the sales of EVs in Australia? Again, not a political channel, but my answer would be no, they're not. Not at the moment, and certainly I think they will in time. I think it's probably just waiting for the, the election aftermath to die down, but I think they will. It's got to happen. I mean, it's happening worldwide. How do you stop a wave? You can't. So we shouldn't be in denial in Australia. I think we should certainly get our incentives going to get more EVs in this country. Yep. What do you think about the electric vehicles in the future of Australia, Rob Carr? Yeah, I think we'll get there. I think our uptake will be slow, not much quicker than it is now, unfortunately, in the short term. But there's got to be some critical mass. To happen naturally, where we'll see just natural growth, and then hopefully people will see, okay, look, these cars are nothing to fear. And there'll be some incentives. Hopefully, we'll get some easy incentives first, like, for example, using a bus lane to get EVs on. That's cheap. That's effective. Doesn't cost the government anything. Decrease registration. Maybe not fully subsidised, but at least decrease. Just a small incentive, right, to kickstart things. Yeah, there are cheap ways to do things. Anyone got a quote for full comprehensive insurance for their Model 3 yet? No one yet. I don't think the insurance companies are quite in the know just yet. I think we've got to wait pretty close to delivery date to find out insurance. Still no news on Powerball 3, long overdue. Indeed, Alex, indeed. I know you're very keen on that, so hopefully we'll get something from Tesla soon. McBain, what's your S insurance premium, Tom? Yeah, so I said that in the video too. I'm currently paying $170 a month with ComInsure. That's about $2,000 a year, with an excess of $700. So hopefully the Model 3 won't be too much more than that. Outback Tesla, no specifics on 3G shutdown, but around 2020 is the estimate for most networks. Yep, which is pretty soon actually, which is next year. Yep, Matt said, and curious on insurance. Yep, very true. Estimates of Model 3 in the first batch. Yep, we went through that. No one knows, but I'm hoping at least in the couple of thousands. I certainly spoke to someone from the Martin Place store, and they were very happy with sales so far. Obviously, they couldn't give me a number, but they were very happy. Got a good quote from Huddle on Model S for 120k. Okay, that's high, but hopefully it's all spec'd out. I see the full self-driving went up to $8,500 from $7,100. It certainly did, and whether that reflects exchange rate, I don't know. I mean, Elon did not promise, but he did say that it would go up. So I think that's part of the deal as well. So there was only a brief window of like 2 or 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks, 2 weeks, where full self-driving was a lot cheaper, $1,400 cheaper. Carl says, ACT allows EVs to travel in the bus lane. Do they really? I did not know that. I'll have to take a trip to Canberra to test that out. Exchange hasn't changed. Yeah, that's true. It hasn't changed. Good point. Do you think the $35,000 US dollar Model 3 will come to Australia? Holden Commodore, no, it's not going to, because the standard price, the SR Plus price in the US is now $39,000. So I think that's probably the best we can hope for. $39,000, which is actually what we've got now. That's the standard range plus here. So yeah, I think that's I think the $35,000 US dollar Model 3 is not really routinely advertised online anymore. That is, you've got to phone up in the US to get it. In Australia, what you see is what you get on the website. We're not going to be able to access that $35,000 model. Did Martin Place retail outlets say anything about how many sales they've got from walk-ins? Yeah, I don't think they're going to release that information. Tesla are pretty quiet about things like that. So yeah, I don't think so. They didn't say. I doubt the ICE drivers know about EVs in the bus lane, so be warned. Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, guys. Well, I think... Oh, one more question. Should I get the Model 3 away from the Model Y? Ooh, good question. Yeah, look, I think Model Y, you're going to be looking at a pretty long wait. They say 2021, I think, in the US. So you add 2 years to that, that's 2023. So you're looking at like another 4 years. You can certainly buy a 3 now and then trade it in. That'll increase the used car market in Australia. Get both, yes, very true. Rivian versus Tesla truck, yeah, that's a good question, that one. Both look pretty awesome. Can't to comment because I haven't actually seen either. But yeah, the Rivian looks good as well. At least Rivian's got that, they've got a trailer. By trailer, I mean like a video trailer. Like there's some video you can see, you can watch it, whereas Tesla's just a concept at the moment, so hard to judge at this stage. Did you get PPF on your S? Do you mean performance? PPF, can you clarify that please? How is your Powerwall solar going? Would be good if the gateway could talk to the car and schedule charging to use excess solar. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, surely City that could happen. I mean, that's just like a firmware thing, right? It could certainly be like a Zappy. I think in time Tesla will probably tweak that. I'm sure that's part of their plan. PPF, paint protection film. Yeah, okay, so that's something I've been wanting to get actually. Still shopping around for that. Getting some quotes, but yeah, I didn't initially, but you know what, it's been all right. Like I haven't been too fussed with the paint. People say the paint's very thin, but to be honest, it looks fine. I just give it a good wash and it's fine. Yep, Tesla Gong says XPEL. There's a couple of brands out there. Yep, Elon announced Truck Ute reveal later this year. Yes, he did. XPEL, another recommendation there. What do you think about the Roadster 2020? Well, hashtag Roadster Down Under. That's the whole aim of my hashtag there, to get that down here with the referral. So again, just quickly, thank you very much, guys, for using my referral. I've been very happy with how many I've got. So thank you for the guys who've used it. So you're gonna love your Model 3. Yeah, congratulations on people who've bought one already, by the way. So thanks again. Yeah, the Roadster 2020 looks awesome. There was a couple of guys tweeting the pictures of the Roadster from the recent shareholders meeting. So check those out. It just looks phenomenal. 1,000-kilometer range. You can get to Brisbane in one hit, get to Melbourne in one hit, get to Canberra and back in one hit. If I ever won that, that's something I would try to do. Like one shot, Brisbane to Sydney to Melbourne in one shot. 1,000-kilometer range. Yeah, I've heard the Tesla paint is prone to chip. Well, to be honest, like I hear that all the time, right? And I read that online, but again, my paint looks fine. And I drive it everywhere. I don't keep it in the garage. Like I drive kids to school. We do everything with our car. So yeah, I can't say that that's a real problem with me. Yeah, so some more recommendations for coats. Cool. Oh, one more question. Tom, do you think we'll get the first batch boat load and another 3 months later? Maybe test drives from first batch available? Yeah, I would think certainly once the first batch comes in, we will be able to test drive. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a faith thing, isn't it? You can't test drive a car that you're about to buy. What have you got here? Dread buyer regret if going with SR Plus, not the Model 3. Yeah, look, look, the premium versus partial premium is a bit controversial. I think, yeah, look, the sound system, like I quite like my sound, so I know it's a lot of money to pay for sound, but there's no option to upgrade the sound just by itself. So I think, premium for sound and for, what else do you get with the premium? You get better maps, you get the garage opening thing, yeah. Again, and also pay for the increased range as well. And also increased acceleration. Things like acceleration is not a big deal for me, but yeah, increased range I think is good to have if you're going to go on a road trip. How many referrals are you on? I think last checked I had 37. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm blown away. I'm honestly blown. I thought I'd get a few, but yeah, 37. Yeah, just incredible. So thank you very much, guys. I think the old benchmark is 55 for a Roadster 2. Obviously, it's not that anymore, but yeah. Ray Johnson says batch 1 all drivers meet in Canberra. Yeah, I agree with you there. I test drove the 100D P100D Model S before deciding to place a reservation. Nice. Yeah, you can still test drive a Model S, no problem. Premium all the way, carbon fiber wing, very good. Obviously, going for the performance package there, Peter Cox, because you get the carbon fiber wing with the performance package. Bjorn showed that the performance model is speed limited to 233 until the rear spoiler is installed. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think our performance without the upgrade is limited to 233. Thanks, Carl. I thought I was doing over 3. Look, 3 referrals is great, honestly. I'm just blown away by how many I've got. I didn't have any actually before Model 3 was released here, so thank you, everyone. All right, guys, I think I might stop it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, apologies for earlier tonight with the technical glitch. I will work on that for the next one. leave a comment here, or tweet me or send me an email if you thought this was worth doing, and I'll do another one in the future, certainly. And let your friends know, guys who don't know EVs, or are thinking about buying a Model 3. Maybe we'll invite them and get their questions answered too. Oh, hang on, just quickly, a few more questions. What happens if your Tesla runs out of battery and you're in the countryside with no supercharger nearby? Well, actually, I probably would plan my trip better, I would think. Even with a petrol car, I'm not going to strand myself. So yeah, a lot of planning. I'm just that kind of person. I'm not going to go out on a whim on a road trip. So I'm going to plan carefully with any trip. Thanks, Sid. Great effort with referrals. Thank you very much. The Now You Know crew have referrals from AU and are planning a road trip here. Nice, cool. I want to meet up with Jesse and Zach. I've spoken to Jesse online by email, so yeah, nice guy. Would love to meet up with him if he does come here. Thank you, GT. Thank you, my pleasure, Tom, Giant, and McBain. My pleasure as well. Thanks. Oh, very nice. Very kind for all of you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I kind of say that all the time, don't I? Can you like, comment? I'm pretty sure you can on this feed, on this video if I make it a replay. And have a great night, everyone.